Today, we're going to talk about the 4 best buys in 2026 fantasy baseball. Coming in at number 1, I do have Gunnar Henderson as a 2026 fantasy buy. In 2025, he battled through injury pretty much all of the season. He stated in an interview in the offseason that he did battle through some type of injury for about 3/4 of the year. So that definitely impacted his play in 2025. Now, the statistics that we see on the screen here now are all of these players' 2025 statistics. So I'm going to talk a little bit about last season, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about what they could do in 2026 possibly. Now, with Gunnar, in 2025, he hit 17 homers, stole 30 bases, which actually ticked up from previous years. And his batting average and on-base percentage were actually pretty good. Through 154 games, 274 average, 349 on-base percentage. In previous seasons, like 2024, he did hit more like 30 homers and stole a little bit less bases. And I think that could easily bounce right back in 2026. I'm not saying the injury mattered a lot, but I think it could definitely have impacted his play last season. And his metrics really did not change from his awesome 2024 season. Things like exit velo, bat speed, batting average, hard hit percentage, all those metrics really did not change for Gunnar Henderson in 2025 compared to 2024. I think Gunnar Henderson's a great bounce back candidate. He was drafted in the first round in 2025. I think now he has the possibility of finishing in the top 12 fantasy baseball players, but he's not being drafted as if he will. Now, number 2 on this list is Roman Anthony. He is incredibly young, still only 21 years old, I believe. Last season, he played 71 games as a 20-year-old, hit 8 homers, stole 4 bases, and had a great on-base percentage and a great batting average, 292 average, 396 on-base percentage. If he can hold the 396 on-base percentage for an entire season, that's an absolute elite level of getting on base. And that's last year, that's over the span of 303 plate appearances. And as a 20-year-old, so still super young, probably a lot to grow and develop on, even from his already decent last year, or at least second half of last year. Now, he does have top-tier exit velocities and also top-tier bat speed, even as a 21-year-old. And he might only steal around 15 bases in a full season. His sprint speed is not the highest, but he has legit power, probably 30 to 35 home run power if all things go correctly. With Roman Anthony, I honestly can see him ending up in the first or second round as far as finishing in 2026. 2027, we could be looking at a first round hitter with Roman Anthony. Now, at number 3, I am going to take another young player who had a down season last year in Jackson Merrill. Played 115 games due to some injury. Did hit 16 home runs, only stole 1 base, and his batting average and on-base percentage did lag a little bit compared to his 2024 season. In 25, he hit 264 with a 317 on-base percentage. As a 21-year-old in 2024, he hit 24 homers and had a much better on-base percentage and batting average. I think his power can definitely bounce back. He was dealing with some injuries in 2024, so I think that really brought his numbers down. In 2024, he had an expected on-base percentage of around 375. I think he can definitely bounce back somewhere close to that, and if he reaches base at that number, I think he'll be a much more valuable player in 2026. Now, the speed is definitely a concern. In previous years, he did steal much more bases. So going over to his StatCast page, in 2024, he did steal 16 bases compared to the 1 in 2025. I think the leg injuries that he was dealing with, I'm not sure if it was a knee or what type of injury he had, but I feel like this had to have hindered him. He does not have the best sprint speed, but it's not like it's it's above average. So I think he can definitely get back to stealing a few bases. I might not expect like 15 to 20 stolen bases, but I could see him getting back to 10 or 12 stolen bases. And if Jackson Merrill can get back to, let's say, 25 homers, 12 to 15 stolen bases with a good on-base percentage, I think he's a great buy in 2026 just because his ADP is so low because of his season in 2025. And then the fourth player I would be buying this offseason is Luke Keeschel. In 49 games as a rookie last season, he hit 4 homers, stole 14 bases, and had a over 300 batting average with a 382 on-base percentage. And that was only 49 games. It was over 207 plate appearances. The 14 stolen bases is super valuable, especially in roto-type leagues. If you pace that out over 150 games, that's 42 stolen bases for Luke Keeschel. Now, he's only 23 years old, and his bat speed and exit velocity are slightly low or slightly lower than stud hitters, but the stolen base value is huge. I also think if he can add 10 to 15 home runs a season and keep the 350 to 380 on base percentage, I think he can be a really valuable player in 2026. He's a huge stolen base threat, and that's super important in rotisserie style leagues. And with him still being so young, only 23 years old, I definitely can see the bat speed and the exit velocity improving for Keeschel, leading to more power and probably better results in 2026. So I'm definitely buying into Luke Keeschel for the 2026 baseball season. And that wraps up the 4 best fantasy buys for 2026. Gunnar Henderson, Roman Anthony, Jackson Merrill, and Luke Keeschel. I think all these players could have breakout seasons. Most of them are relatively young, so I think there's a lot to improve on and a lot to get better from in 2026. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe for more, and we'll be back soon with more fantasy baseball content.